Welcome to the International Trade Minute Quickfire Trade News, where we bring you the latest and most pressing updates in international trade. This podcast is brought to you by Reidel Law Firm, your trusted partner in navigating the complexities of trade law. In today's episode, we'll delve into several critical topics that are shaping the global trade landscape. We'll explore a new bipartisan bill aimed at expanding the Bureau of Industry and Securities Authority over AI exports, examine Customs and Border Protection's approval of a post-importation pricing formula for precious metals, and unpack President Joe Biden's recent order against a Chinese cryptocurrency mine near a U.S. military base. Additionally, we'll touch on the U.S. Trade Representative's call for public input on the African Growth and Opportunity Act, and we'll cover the Bureau of Industry and Securities alert concerning Turkey's recent trade ban on Israel.
Let's get started. In a significant move addressing national security concerns, a bipartisan group of House members has introduced legislation designed to expand the Bureau of Industry and Securities (BIS) authority over the export of artificial intelligence systems. The bill, spearheaded by Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Michael McCaul, aims to close existing loopholes that currently allow American AI companies to sell advanced systems to nations like China without the need for an export license. The proposed Enhancing National Frameworks for Overseas Critical Exports Act, or the Enforce Act, underscores a crucial gap in the U.S. government's regulatory framework. While existing laws effectively control exports of critical hardware, such as cutting-edge computing chips and chip-making equipment, they fall short when it comes to AI software. This disparity has raised significant national security concerns, with leaders warning that adversaries could use these powerful AI systems to enhance cyber attacks or develop advanced bioweapons. According to McCaul, the legislation is essential to ensure that BIS has the authority to stop transfers of sensitive AI technologies to countries like China. The bill would empower BIS to require export licenses for AI and other advanced technologies that are considered critical to national security. Beyond simply enhancing export controls, the act would also extend BIS's legal authority to regulate U.S. persons' activities related to these technologies, particularly in collaboration with foreign AI labs. House member Raja Krishnamurthy highlighted the urgency of the bill, stating that the U.S. national security apparatus currently lacks the necessary authority to prevent China from acquiring AI systems capable of threatening American infrastructure. The legislation would enable BIS to impose stringent checks and balances on American AI laboratories before they engage in collaborative efforts with foreign entities, particularly those linked to the Chinese military. The Foreign Affairs Committee's summary of the bill emphasizes that these measures are crucial to preventing the development of AI systems by adversaries that could be used to compromise U.S. national security. By implementing these controls, the U.S. aims to mitigate the risk of American technology being used to enhance the capabilities of foreign military forces. Bipartisan support for the bill comes from Representatives John Moolenaar, Susan Wild, and others, who underline the necessity of rapidly establishing these regulatory controls. The legislative push aligns with previous recommendations from the House Select Committee on China, advocating for swift action to safeguard emerging technologies from falling into undesirable hands. The committee plans to mark up the Enforce Act on May 16th, marking a critical step towards strengthening export controls and bolstering national security. Observers within the international trade community will be keenly watching the progress of this pivotal legislation, understanding its profound implications for the regulation of emerging technologies and the broader landscape of global trade security. As this development unfolds, it's clear that the bill represents a concerted effort to tighten control over the export of transformative technologies. If enacted, it will be a pivotal change in how the United States manages the international trade of AI systems, reinforcing the country's stance on protecting its technological edge in the face of mounting global competition. Customs and Border Protection, or CBP, has recently approved a significant post-importation pricing formula for EMA Professional Services Corp., specifically for their precious metal imports. This formula is designed to accommodate price adjustments based on an analysis conducted after the goods are brought into the United States, promoting compliance with the transaction value methods established for imported merchandise under U.S. customs laws. EMA Professional Services Corp. Primarily deals with the importation of precious metal bars, including those made from platinum group metals such as palladium, rhodium, and platinum. These metals are acquired from diverse international suppliers based in countries like South Africa and the United Arab Emirates. At the point of entry, EMA uses a provisional purchase price derived from the preliminary analysis performed by suppliers and the prevailing spot prices on the London commodity market. However, it doesn't end there. Once the bars arrive stateside, EMA conducts its own sampling and analysis to determine the actual precious metal content and subsequently the final price. This post-importation analysis is crucial since it frequently reveals variations from the initial supplier assessments. Accordingly, the final price is then recalibrated based on the new analysis results and the spot price on the London commodity market at the time those results are received. Following this reassessment, EMA settles the payment with the suppliers at the revised final price. They are also responsible for reporting any amendments to the initial entry valuation via the Automated Commercial Environments Reconciliation Program, as stipulated by CBP. CBP has confirmed that EMA's pricing formula is valid and complies with the necessary legal standards. This determination hinges on the formula being fixed at the time of importation, with the final price contingent upon an objective standard, namely the London commodity market prices, and future occurrences beyond the control of either the buyer or the seller. In explaining their rationale, CBP noted that the final price EMA pays is determined before the merchandise crosses U.S. borders, relying on objective standards outside the party's influence or control. As such, the post-importation pricing formula meets the price actually paid or payable criteria necessary for using the transaction value method. This compliance ensures that EMA's import practices align with U.S. customs law, avoiding potential legal and financial pitfalls associated with incorrect valuation. By approving this method, CBP is recognizing the complexities involved in the importation and valuation of precious metals. It underscores the agency's commitment to providing flexible yet compliant mechanisms for importers dealing with variable commodities. This approval is not only a win for EMA Professional Services Corp., but also sets a valuable precedent for similar import practices across the industry. President Joe Biden has issued an executive order barring the operation of a Chinese-owned cryptocurrency mine near Francis E. Warren Air Force Base in Cheyenne, Wyoming. This decision comes in the wake of a comprehensive review conducted by the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, or CFIUS, which raised serious national security concerns. The crypto mine, owned by China's Mine One, was flagged for its proximity to a military installation housing nuclear-armed Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missiles. The concern centers on the potential use of the facility and its sophisticated foreign-sourced equipment for espionage activities targeting the base. Given the sensitive nature of the base, the risk was deemed unacceptable. As part of the order, Mine One is required to sell the property, a 12.06-acre parcel of land they acquired in June 2022, and dismantle all infrastructure installed to facilitate the mining operations. The directive underscores the administration's intent to protect critical national security interests without compromise. According to the Treasury Department, which leads CFIUS, the review unearthed that Mine One had not voluntarily disclosed its acquisition of the property to CFIUS, only doing so after a public tip-off prompted an investigation. This lapse heightened the administration's apprehension about the firm's intentions and compliance with national regulations. Paul Rosen, Assistant Secretary for Investment Security at the Treasury Department, emphasized that CFIUS will not hesitate to recommend presidential intervention in cases where serious security risks are detected and mitigation measures cannot be effectively negotiated. The administration's firm stance on this issue sends a strong message about the critical importance of safeguarding U.S. national security against foreign threats. Treasury has highlighted the case as a reminder of the necessity for complete, accurate, and timely information in investment security matters. The decision to bar the crypto mine's operations near a strategically significant military base underscores the broader implications of foreign investments near sensitive sites. In summary, This order not only reaffirms the robust mechanisms in place to protect national security, but also serves as a critical reminder of the far-reaching implications of foreign ownership and operations in proximity to U.S. defense infrastructure. As this story develops, it will likely continue to shape the discourse around foreign investments and national security in the United States. The Office of the United States Trade Representative, or USTR, is currently seeking public input on determining country eligibility for the African Growth and Opportunity Act, commonly known as AGOA. The USTR is inviting stakeholders to submit their comments, requests to testify, and written testimonies by the deadline of June 6th. A critical hearing on this matter is scheduled to take place on June 27th. AGOA, as many of you know, offers tangible incentives for African countries to continue their efforts to open their economies and build free markets. It allows qualifying sub-Saharan African nations to export goods to the United States duty-free, promoting economic growth and enhancing trade ties. This year's review is particularly significant, as it opens the door for changes in the roster of countries currently covered by AGOA. Stakeholders can recommend the removal of any of the existing 32 countries from the program. Conversely, they can also argue for the reinstatement of previously excluded nations, or the inclusion of new ones. Among the countries that may be discussed for potential reinstatement or inclusion are Ethiopia, Burkina Faso, Burundi, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Gabon, Guinea, Mali, Niger, Seychelles, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan, Uganda, and Zimbabwe. Monitoring and evaluating these countries on various fronts, including their market orientation, labor rights, and efforts to reduce poverty, is crucial as part of the eligibility criteria. It's important for all interested parties and stakeholders to actively participate in this process. By providing your insights and feedback, you can help shape the future trade landscape under AGOA and ensure that it continues to promote mutual growth and prosperity. So, mark your calendars. Submissions are due by June 6th, and the hearing will be held on June 27th. Be sure to submit your comments through regulations.gov, using docket number USTR 2024-0006. Your input can have a significant impact on the direction of U.S.-Africa trade relations. The Bureau of Industry and Security, BIS, has recently issued a cautionary notice to U.S. companies operating in Turkey regarding possible violations of U.S. anti-boycott regulations. This alert comes on the heels of Turkey's announcement of a ban on trade with Israel, a development that companies need to be acutely aware of. The Export Administration Regulations, EAR, explicitly prohibit U.S. entities from complying with or supporting unsanctioned foreign boycotts against countries that are friendly to the United States, such as Israel. This prohibition extends to a variety of actions, including but not limited to providing information or certifications that the goods or services being shipped are not of Israeli origin or do not contain Israeli origin components. BIS emphasizes the need for vigilance among U.S. businesses conducting trade with or operating within Turkey to ensure that they do not inadvertently violate these anti-boycott regulations. Companies are reminded to meticulously scrutinize any trade requests from Turkish partners that might contravene U.S. laws, particularly those that could be interpreted as supporting an unsanctioned boycott of Israel. Additionally, BIS has reiterated the requirement for U.S. entities to report any boycott-related solicitations or inquiries they receive. Such reports are crucial for the agency's enforcement of anti-boycott measures and for maintaining compliance with U.S. trade laws. Failure to report these requests can result in significant penalties, including fines and restrictions on export activities. This directive from BIS serves as a timely reminder to all engaged in international trade to remain compliant with U.S. regulations and to be proactive in identifying and responding to potential violations. The agency is keenly aware of the geopolitical complexities that companies navigate and is committed to supporting entities in understanding and adhering to these critical legal requirements. As global trade practitioners, staying abreast of such regulatory changes is essential. Ensure that your compliance teams are fully aware of this recent announcement and that they have the necessary protocols in place to handle any boycott-related requests in accordance with U.S. law. By doing so, you safeguard your business interests and contribute to the broader effort of upholding fair and lawful international trade practices. That's it for today's episode of International Trade Minute, quick-fire trade news. We hope you found this week's updates insightful and informative. Don't forget to tune in next week for more rapid reports on the critical developments reshaping international trade. A special thanks to our sponsor, Reidel Law Firm, for making this podcast possible. Thank you for listening. Stay informed, stay ahead, and have a great week.